Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you're here. Since I'm still pretty new to booktube, I thought it would be a fun idea to tier rank all the books I read in 2024. So this way you'd see what my kind of book taste is and how I rate books and what I like and what I don't. I'm going to be using Tier Maker. This is the site that pretty much everyone who tier ranks books or movies or other stuff uses. I already uploaded all the books that I read. I opened my 2024 year on Goodreads and I did read 62 books and 21,574 pages, which is not a lot for a year. I feel like for some people that might be in a month. Well, maybe not in a month, maybe like a couple of months, but still. But now let's go to my tier maker. Let's quickly run through all the tiers that I have. I couldn't think of any like creative names, so I just put literally what they mean. So first we have absolute faves. This is for my 5-star reads, 5-star, 6-star reads. Books that live rent-free in my mind, books that if I lost my memory right now, I would go first into. So I think the tier pretty much sums up what this tier is about. Second one, we have loved, loved, loved. This is for like 4.5, 4-star reads, so books that I loved and adored, but didn't quite get the 5-star feeling. Good, it's just for the good books, no more, no less. Books I like, would recommend, but they didn't really stick out to me. Whatever is for those books that I feel nothing towards, or the books that I completely forgot I read. See the vision, but it's not for me. I understand why people might like this book, and if I knew people who would love it, I would recommend it to them, but personally, I either didn't like it or hated it. Meh is for the books that I slightly disliked, so there were a couple of things that I really didn't like, and that kind of lowered my rating and my experience with the book. And the last tier, should have DNF'd, is for the books that I absolutely hated and I wish I didn't read them. Now let's move to tier ranking. I tried to upload books in the order I read them, but I feel like they pretty much messed up, so whatever. We're gonna just go by how they are here. So first we have Delilah Green Doesn't Care. This is the first book that goes into absolute faves because I love the book. This is the first book in a interconnected standalone small town romance series. If you haven't read it, please go and read it because it was just amazing. I don't remember the last time I felt that way about a romance, and that says a lot. Next we have The Poppy War. I have cover of translated version because that's the book I read. I loved the book. It was amazing. I did like the first part where there was an academical setting more than I liked the actual war happening. I know it would be not for everyone, but if you're ready for emotional damage, go for it. Next we have A Game of Hearts and Heists. It is, again, a first book, I think, in a trilogy. It is like romantic trilogy. I did not really like it. Like, it was fine, but no, I didn't really like it, so I'm gonna put it in meh, because that's pretty much how I felt about it. Meh. I don't really remember what happened in it, to be honest, except for the heist and there being like a pretty much a big plot of romance. Next, Undercover Princess. This was my first read of 2024, and yep. Oh my fucking goodness. This book, it is first book in a series, in a fantasy series, YA fantasy series. And let me tell you, this is a 5-star, 6-star read. I loved it. It was funny, it was giddy, it was cute, it was just so good. I would sell my soul to read this book for the first time again. If you want some whimsical book set in a boarding school where there is a princess and kingdom, this is for you. Next we have Princess in Practice. It is the second book in the same series. I believe it's called The Rosewood Chronicles, and I like this book even more than the first one, so it goes in absolute faves as well. There were so many plot twists in this book that I didn't see coming and I didn't expect them, and also the character growth and development was really seen in here. It is my favorite book in the whole series. Next we have The Lost Princess. It is the third book in the same series. I read the 3 books back to back, so because I was just enjoying the series so much and I didn't want to part from it. However, The Lost Princess, the third book, I liked the least. I think I gave it like 3 or 3.5 stars. I think 3.5 stars. It was set in another boarding school, but I did not connect with the new characters we were introduced to and to the plot that was going on. So I would say for this book, good. It was good, but I wasn't absolutely obsessed with it. Next, we have The Raven Boys. I actually also read the translated version of this book, but I put the English cover in here. It is the first book in, I think the series is called The Raven Boys as well, and I loved it. It was something new. I'd say I never read something with the same magic system, because magic in this is unlike anything I've read before. The characters were interesting, I'd say. I know I missed the hype because I feel like this book was popular like 10 years ago when it first came out, but I was just a baby back then. Like not a baby, but I was a kid and I did not read when it first came out, but now I did. I loved the book, honestly. It did not give me 5-star feeling, but I loved the book. Next book I read was Princess at Heart, in the same series as the first 3, and I loved it. I loved it. It was, again, not my favorite, but it was good for what it was, and I really loved the plot and what was going on and the characters. It perfectly goes into that tier. The last book in the series, Princess Ever After, I cried at the end of the book. I did, because everything wrapped up so perfectly. I feel like it was the perfect end of the story, and we also got an epilogue where they're all grown up. But it still was not my favorite book in the whole series, so it's gonna go into loved. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Can you blame me? I don't think you can. This was my most anticipated read for the whole year, but I didn't get to it, I think, till February, because I just wanted to binge the whole Rosewood Chronicles series, so I did. But when I got to it, now that's what I'm talking about. It was amazing. It was perfect. It was amazing. I absolutely loved Pip. I loved Ravi. I loved the book. I loved the plot. This is what I want from a YA mystery book. Next, we have Honey and Issue's Guide to Fake Dating. It was fine, but nothing really special. So I think I want to put it in whatever. And I remember I picked up this book because I was falling in a reading slump because of reading another book. You can actually read it now. It was The Invisible Life of Eddie LaRue, and I feel like it might be an unpopular opinion, but meh. Please don't come for me. Please don't kill me. I didn't like the book. I loved the writing style. The writing style was amazing. I wanted to get lost in it. But the whole plot, it was so predictable. It was no surprise how the book ended. I saw that coming. And I usually don't like seeing things coming. And because I was reading it for so long, I was falling into a reading slump because of it. Heartstopper. I loved the book. I read the whole Heartstopper series, all the volumes on tapas, on my laptop or on my phone, while I had classes in school, yeah. Sue me. It was amazing. It was great. I love both the comic books, the series. It was just heartwarming, heart-stopping. There were some more difficult topics dealt with in like further volumes, and some topics that I could highly resonate with. Next, we have The Dream Thieves. This is the second book after The Raven Boys, and I'm gonna put it in the same tier as I put Raven Boys in, because I liked the book. It did take me a while to read it, like 2 weeks, but I loved it. I loved the writing style, I loved the characters, I loved what was happening. Okay, here we have As Good as Dead, the third book in A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, but I suggest we first read Good Girl Bad Blood, which is the second book. There it is. Unpopular opinion, but this was my favorite book in the whole series. It is a 6-star read for me. Absolutely loved it. As Good as Dead traumatized me So I'm gonna put it in See the Vision, but it's not for me because I can see people liking it, and I know so many people like it, and for so many people, it is their favorite book in the whole series. But for me, it was not. Another unpopular opinion, but I actually prefer Killjoy to As Good as Dead. So I'm gonna put it in Loved because I did like the book. I did not guess the mystery, and I did not really like the ending. I guessed the mystery like Pip did, not as deep as she did, but I did guess who the murderer was. But the ending of the book, I was disappointed. And I can see why Pip was disappointed because I would be disappointed as well. Next, we have Princess of Dorsa. I believe it is indie published fantasy book. I was buddy reading it, and I gotta put it in Loved. I think it was fun. It was fast paced, it was fun, I loved the plot. The plot was kinda basic in some sense, but I don't care. The romance subplot of this, oh my goodness. It was amazing. It was so good. Soldier of Dorsa is the second book in that series, and I also loved it. It was kind of heavier, I want to say. We did get more political stuff and less of romance because our two main characters were separated for the majority of the book, but they did meet at the ending, and it was really cute. Next, we have the reappearance of Rachel Price. I'd say it was good. Honestly, not my favorite Holly Jackson book, but also not my least favorite, so it was fine for what it was. The Sanatorium by Sarah Peters. I was gifted this book for my birthday and I read it in June. It is about a sanatorium where people get stuck because of the snowstorm. Maybe not the most suiting book to read in June, but I didn't really care and I still read it. It was good as well. Nothing life-changing, nothing groundbreaking, just a good mystery book. Gideon the Ninth. Please don't come for me, but I did not like the book at all. I can see the vision, and I know people who like it, and I know people who might, but personally for me, it's not what I like reading about. It's not the vibe I'm searching in the books. I struggled with this book so much, both because of the language and because of the plot. Last book in my favorite romance trilogy. This is the third book. This is the second book, so I suggest we read it first. I don't know why. They're interconnected, but I still like doing series in their order. So Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail. It is the second book, and yeah, yes, it is another 5-star read. And honestly, when I first read the series, I thought that Delilah Green Doesn't Care was my favorite book of all. But the more time passes since I read the books, the more I think about the second book in the series. I feel like that might be my favorite one. It was Enemies to Lovers. They were enemies, but in a contemporary romance setting. So, like, they just didn't really like each other at first, but then they were like, okay, I actually do like you. And I'm down for it, honestly. I'm down for it. I love this book so much, and every time I think about it, I giggle and kick my feet. The last book is Iris Kelly Doesn't Date, and yeah, on Goodreads, I feel like this book is rated the highest, but it was actually my least favorite because I just didn't really connect with the characters and with the whole story, with the whole plot. I did not really like it. It was good, but not my favorite. I would recommend it to people who I think would like it, but not to everyone. Down to Science, it is a short book in a little book series that was written by different authors because of the Pride. It was meh. I didn't really connect with the characters, with the story, with the whole plot, so I did not really like it. Yeah. At least it was short, so I got through it relatively quickly. Okay, Heartstoppers. Let's put just all the Heartstopper volumes in the loved tier, because all the books, I did not rate any of them because I don't know how to rate graphic novels. I loved them all equally. They were all fun, they were all great reads. Some emotional in a sense that I cried, some emotional in the sense that I giggled and kicked my feet. Next we have 6 Times We Almost Kissed and One Time We Did. It was okay. Not my favorite, definitely, but I did tear up a little bit during reading it because our characters were dealing with some heavier stuff in their lives. It was kind of heartbreaking at times. Eleanor Jones is not a murderer. It is another YA mystery series, and it was good as well. I did guess who the criminal, the bad guy was, but I did like our main character, how sarcastic she was, so I still liked the book, even though I guessed the mystery. Queens of Crimes, I think I'm gonna put it in loved. This book was almost 5 stars for me, but it did not have that feeling of a 5-star, you know? It was a fun romance book. It was fun, it was quick, it was really cute and sweet, but again, it didn't really have that 5-star feeling. Don't Want You Like a Best Friend, I also loved the book. It was, again, not a 5-star. It was fun and giddy and just so awesome. And I read it, I think, after watching Bridgerton's, because it is set in pretty much the same period of time. So I would recommend this. Director Scott, I also loved. It was also almost a 5-star romance for me, but again, it was not quite there, unfortunately, but I still really liked it and would highly recommend. Next we have Fortune Favors the Dead. This was the first book in a mystery series, but I only read the first book and I actually have no interest in reading any other. And I put it in whatever because I don't really remember what happened there. 14 Ways to Die, which I think I'm gonna put in good next to Eleanor Jones. They did have pretty similar vibe of YA fast-paced mystery book. The interesting thing about this book is that the plot was so similar to the appearance of Rachel Bright that at some point it was actually really suspicious because this book was published 5 years ago, I think. I was like, wait, that is kind of sus. I read this book after the appearance of Rachel Bright and I think I enjoyed them pretty equally, honestly. Okay, about the next book, I'm not going to talk much because it is a book by Ukrainian author written in Ukrainian and it has no translation. So I'm just gonna put it in whatever because I do not care about this book. I do not remember what the book was about and I don't want to read any other books from either this author or from this series. So we'll just leave it at that. I've survived. Look, I think there are so many unpopular opinions today, but another unpopular opinion. This is my least favorite book from Holly Jackson. I did like Killjoy more than I liked 5 Survive. Maybe because I am more of a mystery gal where there's like an investigation going. Because 5 Survive was more like a thrillery book. Hold on, I think we have a guest. We do have a guest. Hi. Yeah? Anyway, let him sleep. What was I saying? Yeah, I didn't really like 5 Survive. The Last Murder at the End of the World. I was waiting so long for this book to come out, but whatever. My mom absolutely loved this book and she was begging for me to read it, but I didn't like it. The one thing that I really liked was the interesting setting because it is more of sci-fi mystery book or like a mystery book with a little fantasy element. Well, we're gonna leave it at whatever because I really don't care about the book. The Ride of Her Life. I should have DNF'd the book. I so much hated it. This was my first cowboy, or rather cowgirl, romance. And at first I was like, yeah, I see the hype. But then it was so ew, so awkward. And the miscommunication in this book, I hate miscommunication because I am a person who will talk through everything. Because I hate miscommunication, I could never bear it. And also, I skipped spicy scenes. This is editing me. I started editing and I saw that my microphone died halfway through the video. So now I'm going to be looking at the recording of the screen that I did and I'm going to be just voicing over what I did basically because I don't remember what I said. Bear with me, I had to change into what I was wearing when I filmed it. So if the angle changed and the lighting changed and everything changed, that's why. I was talking about The Ride of Her Life and how I hated the book, how bad it was, how I hated spicy scenes, which I usually never do. And I did put Ride of Her Life into should have DNF'd. Next book is The Retreat by Sarah Pierce. It is the second book to The Sanatorium, and it was awful. I also wish I DNF'd the book. It was so similar to The Sanatorium that even in my reading journal, when I was writing my thoughts about the book, I wrote down 6 bullet points of everything that was similar in these 2 books. So why the fuck did you need to write the book? Why do we need 2 exact books? The next book is If Tomorrow Doesn't Come, and it was okay. It was good. Nothing extraordinary, nothing groundbreaking and life-changing, but it was okay for what it was, and it was definitely something unique and original, and I've never read anything like that. It did make me a little bit emotional towards the end, because how everything wrapped up and how everything turned out, it did make me kind of emotional. Next, we have These Witches Don't Burn, and I loved the book, honestly. It was so fun, it was so cool. I loved the witchy setting. I read it during the autumn, so perfect setting for the book. It is a duology with a little prequel. I read all of them in 1 month, I think, and I loved and adored all of them. This Spell Can't Last is actually the prequel to this duology, and I loved it. It did open my eyes to why the characters who acted the way they did, so it really helped you to connect with the characters more. This common Windbreak, it is the second book in this duology, the second and last, and I liked it even more than I liked the first book. It was not a 5-star, so this is why I put it in loved tier. It was great, it was good, I really liked it, and I would highly recommend to check out this series, especially during fall. Girls of Paper and Fire, I put in whatever, because I do not care about this book. I literally feel nothing towards it, but I just do not care about it at all. I don't care that it is the start of a series. I don't care that the ending was setting for the second book. So whatever is literally how I feel about this book. This is How You Lose the Time War. I do have a translated cover because I read the translated version, but the cover looks the same, just text looks different. And I put it in C Division, but it's not for me because this book is definitely not for me. I did like the writing. I did like the plot because it was so unique and I've never read anything like that, but the execution and the book as a whole, I didn't really connect and I didn't really like. I do understand why people love it and why it is a 6-star read for a lot of people, but it was personally not for me and there is nothing wrong with it. Next book I'm not gonna talk too much about because it is a manga and this manga is only translated to French and Ukrainian, so not much to say about it because you can't really read it, but I loved it. I was gifted it and I really loved it. It has such a cute style. It is about cat cafe, about 2 girls running this cat cafe, and about other people coming in and like little snippets of their lives. In Education and Malice, I also put in whatever because it is a retelling of Carmilla and I haven't read the original story. I have it on my TBR for this year because I do want to know what all hype is about with Carmilla. However, this book I didn't really like. It was okay, but again, it was like whatever. My lovely Naturals. I love this series, but I would say the first book is my favorite. It is a 5-star for me. That's why I put it in absolute faves, because it is my absolute fave, not only of the series, but of the whole year also. I loved meeting our characters. I loved the mystery that it was all centered around. I would change nothing about this book, I think, about this one at least, because the further the series goes, it goes downhill for me. Personally, for me. So yeah, the first one is definitely my favorite. Not a 6-star read like Good Girl Bad Blood, but a 5-star. The Killer Instinct is the second book after The Naturals, and I loved it. It was not my favorite, but not my least favorite as well. It was okay. It was fun. It was cool. Loved the mystery, but not as much as I like the first one. And now I suggest we read the series as a whole before moving to the next book. So All In was good, but personally it was not my favorite. It was actually one of my least favorite books. I thought this book would be my favorite because it mostly focuses on Sloane's story and her like backstory, but I did not like it. I wanted to because I find so many similarities between me and Sloane, so I was really hoping that I would like it, but unfortunately I didn't. Bad Blood, which is the last book in this series, I also put in good because it was good. It was good for what it was, but I did not like the ending. I just don't like when mystery books resolve in this thing, when the reason for mysteries happening is this thing. I can't really say much because obviously it is 3rd and 4th books in a mystery series, so I can't really say much, but I did not like the last 2 books. But however, I loved the 12th, which is a little novella at the end of the series. It was so fun and I liked both mystery and I also loved seeing snippets of our main characters' lives back when they were 12, hence the name of the novella. So yeah, I really loved it, and I definitely liked it more than All In and Bad Blood. If We Were Villains, I also have a translated version because I did read the translated version. I put it in meh because I don't like it. The Shakespeare stuff didn't bother me at all. That's like their own language. It was fun to follow. But the mystery element, why was literally everyone saying that, oh my god, there is such a big plot twist at the end, oh my god, the open ending. I knew what would happen literally from the start of the book. And the open ending, it's not even that open of an ending. Like, yeah, okay, it's open, but so what? Anyway, I was so disappointed with this book because I thought this would be like my next obsession like it is for so many people, but I just didn't care and didn't like it. About the next book, I'm also not gonna focus much about because it is another book by a Ukrainian author that is written in Ukrainian and there is no translation to English or any other languages, at least for now. I don't know what will happen next, but I liked it. It was fun, it was good. It was good for what it was, but definitely not my favorite. Of the Fire and the Stars, whatever. And yet another book that I didn't care about. It was fun reading it, but not all the time because I remember there was so much stuff that bothered me. I did not really like it, I did not really connect with it, but not in a way that I hate the book, just in a way that I don't really care about the book and I don't want to continue the series. Take Two is another book in that little series where different authors wrote short stories, and I liked it. It was another book that was set in like cinematography world, like director Scott, and I liked it. It was a second chance romance, which I'm not a fan of second chance romances. I despise them usually, because usually the thing that they broke up over, I hate. But this book was okay. This book was great and I really loved it. Solitaire, I also have a translated copy of. It was fun. In a way, it was also relatable in a way, and I did highlight some quotes. I really liked it, and the ending made me tear up. The Bone Shard Daughter is another book that I absolutely loved, and I feel like not enough people talk about this book, and not enough people even know about this book. It has such a unique magic system, and it has such a unique world building, so if you want a fantasy with an amazing world, with an amazing magic that you've never seen anywhere, please read this book. We follow so many point of views, and it's actually so fun to follow all of them. The next book is This Winter by Alice Osman. Again, have the translated version of it, and I also have it on my shelves. Loved the book. It is a little Christmas novella in the same world as The Heartstopper is in. It was fun, but also heartbreaking and heartwarming at the same time, and there was some stuff discussed that I related to. So that's why I loved it. And the last book, which is actually the last book I read in 2024, is The Wilds by Sarah Pierce, which is the third book after The Sanatorium and The Retreat. It was okay, but I can't say I really liked it because I didn't. I don't really care for it. My mom loves the book and she pushed me to read it because she thought I would like it as well, but I didn't. Unfortunately, we ended up the year on like not the best book ever. Can't say I hated the book, I just didn't really like it and I didn't really connect with it again. Literally. Whatever. The tier speaks for itself. I just don't really care about the book and I never thought about it twice. So that is all for today, my loves. I am so sorry for this little bitch that stopped working and now I had to pop up here sometime later. I hope you don't mind and I hope you liked the video. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. I would really love to see you in my next videos. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of the books that I read last year and if you loved any of them, and maybe we share some favorite books or least favorite books, who knows? Or maybe you loved the books that I didn't like, or maybe I liked the books you didn't like. Please let me know. It would be so cool for me to read that. And now I'm gonna let you go and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!